were the best boxers in your time at the Cats, Moons?
When I started at North Melbourne, I mean, I had to get in with, we're talking Carey.
Arch
I didn't get in with Arch. I don't think Arch was allowed in the ring.
Just went crazy.
No, I don't think Dennis let him in.
Was Wayne as good as they
Wayne
say?
was easily the best fighter I've ever seen.
Yeah. When you say fighter, because there's a difference
Pugilist.
between a scrapper and a boxer.
A boxer.
Yeah.
He was a great boxer. So I'm 19, 20 getting in with him, and he was so strong and powerful and quick. Best I've ever seen. Swatter, quick, lightning quick swatter.
He strikes me, and I've heard before that he was very, very good.
But I had to get in with John Longmire one day. Now, Horse was okay, and I was pretty good in the ring. I was pretty confident in the ring. So I landed one on him one day, and I just watched the eyes roll in the back of his head. And as he's come at me, we're on a platform which is about half a metre off the floor, and my foot's gone through the step, and I've fallen over. And I thought to myself, well, I'm out here. He's going to stop. Nope. He sat there and punched me on the top of the head about 4 or 5 times. My eyes come up. I was dizzy. Big Horse did not like it at all. Mickey Martin was very good.
Well, Mick ended up doing taekwondo or something, jiu-jitsu or something, one of those.
But he was one of those big, you talk about, he just push you into the corner and then punch the hell out of you.
I remember I had a blue with Mick out in the ground one day, and it was back in the days when they used to throw a few occasionally. And in the end, I jumped over, headlocked him, and it was like riding the bucking bronco. He was thrashing around. My feet were coming off the ground. I just squeezed and squeezed and squeezed until we ended up on the ground. I was scared to let go. He might do some real damage.
I remember one year we had a really poor run in the reserves. This is back when the reserves were playing at North, and then Byron Pickett. So we had to get in, so Dennis and Tony Elshaw, who was the coach of the reserves that year. He got us in there and they said, right, no holds barred, just go at it. And they were screaming at you from the side of the ring, hit him, you're weak. Byron Pickett got a hold, I think it was Luke McCormack, and I reckon probably broke his nose within about 3 seconds. And then they screamed at Luke to get up and keep going again. Blood's pouring down his shirt, and Byron in the end's looking at him going, I can't keep going. Hit him again, bang. So that was crazy. You?
Well, we had a Swabby could hold him up. Greenie was a slugger. Dipper was just a powerhouse slugger, not a lot of, but fancied himself a bit too, Dipper, which is much like his life. When we were at Sydney, when I was at Sydney, I did more boxing than I did football. We had
I think you both did at times during your career. I am sitting here with 2 of the most reported players in AFL history.
Well, Big Brother said that you could throw him up in Sydney.
No, I'd done it always. So, and then I had quite a few scraps in the schoolyard as a kid and kind of not enjoyed it, but never really fazed me. But anyway, so I was happy to do it. And one day at training, Barras said, we're going to match you all up. And remember Adam Huskis?
Oh, yes.
He tackled me and I shrugged him off and he came back at me and literally put him up. And I've gone, oh, come on, Adam. So anyway, we had the boxing the next week and Barras has teamed him up with me. And we had 3 one-minute rounds, and at the end of the first minute round, I thought it was funny at first, but in the end, I just turned around to Johnny Lewis's brother, forget his first name, the boxing trainer. He was a boxing trainer as well, the brother.
Said enough's enough.
I turned around to him and I said, I'm not finding this fun anymore. I'm sick of hitting him. I can't hit him anymore. This is just... I'm feeling really guilty about this. Anyway, so the only way to go, I didn't sit him down on his butt in the opening of the second round. But some of the boys were Dale Lewis was good at everything. Yeah. Didn't even know he was good at boxing. Remember Mickey Werner, big tough Essendon player? He went to Sydney. Anyway, we all sort of came out and they were the last bout. And the 2 of them came out together and we thought, oh, Mick is a mauler. He'll kill Louis. And Louis, dancing around doing this one and... Anyway, they came out onto the ground after what would have been 6 or 7 minutes, so you would assume they got 3 one-minute rounds, and they did have them, and they got through to the other end. And Louis came out and had that running style. He's jogging half a lap. And then Mickey Werner came out after him. I thought, geez, this is going to be a split decision between those because everyone wanted to know everyone else's. And Mickey came out and jogged 10, 15, 20, 21 paces, 22... fell flat,
Delayed concussion.
fell flat on his face, delayed concussion. They reckon Louis was just dancing around him, picking holes through him. He could do everything, Darlos. But the one, remember little Pete Philandia, ex-Essendon as well? Lovely little fella, tough little nut. Scotty Waters, pound for pound, is the strongest player I think I've ever seen. He is brutally strong, Scotty, and very gifted and good at everything. But he's only got arms this long. And he was telling me he was up against Pete Philandia and he started to throw it and he went, settle, Scott, just get back into the groove. And then at the end, Pete Philandia got carted off to hospital. Scotty had shifted a vertebrae in his neck. He'd punched him that hard, that often. The vertebrae had clicked backwards. They had to take him off to hospital, sedate him to get it.
Stop leading with your chin, Pete.